My name is Candace, aka Picasso Baby, and today I'm going to be showing you how to create your very own sundress in stilettos. If you're new here, welcome. If you've been here before, thank you so much for stopping back by to paint with me today. So as you all know, we are in the spring season, but it is going to be summertime soon. And I got a request for a stiletto painting, but I also got a request for a bridesmaid painting. So I decided, since it's spring/summer, let's combine the two because it is time to pull out those stilettos. It is also time for wedding season, so I'm going to combine the two. So today we are going to be creating sundresses and stilettos. But as always, before we get started, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and turn on those post notifications so that you do not miss the next tutorial. So as always, before we get started, I'm going to go over everything that I'm going to be working with today. So I am using a 16 by 20 inch canvas, but remember, you can use the canvas size of your choice. We are going to be doing some drawing today, so you do want to make sure that you have a pencil and a permanent marker, or at least one or the other. If you don't have a permanent marker, I suggest having the pencil. That way, if you make any mistakes, you can erase it. Or if you do have both, you can do it in pencil first, and then you can go over it in permanent marker. You also want to make sure that you have some different sized acrylic brushes to paint with, a rag or some napkins to dry them off on. You want to make sure you have a cup with cool water so that you can wash your brushes out in. And then we are working with acrylic paint. I am using the colors Burnt Sienna, Mars Black, Phthalo Blue, Bright Red, Chrome Yellow, and Titanium White. And as always, everything is listed down in the description below. So let's go ahead and get started. So I am going to start out by, of course, sketching it out. Again, we are doing a sundress and stiletto painting. So I'm going to be drawing her dress, her legs, and of course, those stilettos. So the first thing I want to do is I want to get the bottom of the dress on, because we're only going to see the bottom half of her dress and her legs. So up here, and I'm using my permanent marker, but I do suggest using a pencil first. That way you can erase any mistakes, and then you can go over it in permanent marker. So what I'm going to do first, I'm starting right here at the top. I'm not starting at the very edge here. I'm coming in a bit. And I am just going to pull a line down. So I'm stopping right about there. That way I have room to put my legs and my heels in. And that's a little bit above the midpoint of my canvas. Now I'm going to take this line all the way across. And then I'm going to pull a line going up. So you see we have like the bottom half of her dress. The next thing I want to do is I want to get in again her legs and her feet, and of course the stilettos. So I'm going to draw the back of the first leg. So one leg is going to be kicked up, the other leg is going to be coming straight down. So I'm starting right under the dress. I am going to curve in where her ankle starts. I'm going to curve back out where her heel goes, and then I'm going to take it down for the actual stiletto. I'm going to move up just a bit so that I can do the front of her leg, and this time I'm just kind of coming straight down. But remember, you're going to curve in a bit when you get to the ankle, and then I'm going to start to curve out. And I'm going to curve it right down to the bottom of the canvas there. Now, as far as her actual heel goes, I'm going to show you how to actually add those in. If you want to switch yours up a bit, feel free to do so. I'm just doing an open toe, regular stiletto that you will wear out, or of course that most people wear at spring and summertime weddings. So the first thing I want to do is the ankle strap. So right across her ankle, I'm going to pull two lines for the strap, and then I am right at the back of her heel here. I'm going to pull a quick line down, but I'm going to stop before it goes all the way down. And I'm going to mimic this line that's in the front. And I'm taking it down to the bottom of the canvas. Now I'm going to mimic that line again, but I'm going to come in front of it this time, or behind it rather. And I'm going to pull a quick line up and then a little line down for the stiletto. Now as far as the front of it, remember I'm doing open toe. You can do whatever you like, but I'm going to pull a strap across the toe area. So the same way that I did the ankle strap, I'm pulling the strap across the toe area, and then I am going to be adding in her toes. If you don't want to add in that part, feel free to leave it as is, especially if you're doing more of a closed toe heel. But for the toes, I'm going to start at the front of the foot here. So I'm starting right at the front. I am going to pull a little curve back. So that one's going to be one toe. I'm going to pull another curve back. And I'm going to end up doing 4 of these little curves. And again, because of the way that we have it at the edge of the canvas, it is going to get cut off. That's completely fine. Now I'm going to add on the toenails. So I'm coming back to the first one. And I'm going to add a little curve at the front. I'm going to do that on all 4 of those little toes that I added in. Now I want to add in my second leg, and you'll see you still have some of the shoe showing at the front. That's completely fine. Now I'm going to add my second leg in, and for this one I'm going to come in front of this leg, and I'm going to curve it back, and you can cross right over the first leg. And remember how we stopped for the ankle and then we start to actually curve the foot. I'm going to curve it down and off the canvas. Now I'm going to do the same thing for the back here, except that now we're creating the stiletto of the heel. So I'm starting at the back of the leg, stop where her ankle is. You're going to curve for the heel, and then down for the stiletto. Now remember how we did this? We're going to do that same thing so that we can create the bottom of the shoe. I'm going to make the strap for her heel here. Underneath the strap, I'm going to create this curve that mimics the curve of the heel. Now I want to mimic this, the front of the foot. I'm going to mimic it for the back of the foot. So I'm going to make that curve and take it down off the canvas. I'm going to mimic this line again. And then I just want to create the actual stiletto by pulling the line down and closing it off there. Now same thing, we do have to add some toenails over here. These ones is not going to be as many. I'm only doing 3 because you can only see like the toe and the big toe and the first 2 toes. So I am going to pull that first strap across like we did there. Now this time, I'm not going to start at the front of the shoe or the top of the shoe here. I'm going to start back here. I'm going to curve a line over. And I'm going to do that 3 times. And then I'm going to add the little nails in. And once you have all of that in, you are done with the drawing portion. It is now time to paint. So the first thing I want to do is I want to get a layer of the skin tone on first. And I'm just going to be using my brown for this part. So I'm using my biggest brush. And I'm just using this burnt sienna as is, just to get the first layer of my skin tone on. We're going to be adding the actual skin tone on a little bit later, but we want to get a little undertone on there. So for this part, you're filling in the legs, both legs, and then you're also going to fill in the piece of the foot that's showing, and also the toes and toenails. And I'm doing that on both feet and legs. So I'm just going to get that filled in with just brown first. And it doesn't have to be super thick. If you can still see the lines, that's actually perfect. You don't want to lose the lines because, again, we are going to come back and add our actual skin tone on. We just want to get a layer underneath there so that when we add on our skin tone, it's not super sheer. We want it to be more opaque. All right, now once you have that first layer on there, again, it's just the brown. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be super thick. We just wanted a layer of brown on there. Once you have that on, the next thing we're gonna do is fill in our background color. For my background color, I wanna do more of like a lighter green. So I'm still using my bigger brush, but you do wanna make sure to wash it off. And you can use the color of your choice. It's completely up to you. But what I'm gonna do is take some of my yellow, a little bit of blue, and also some white, and I want to mix that up. So again, this is more of like a spring, summertime painting. So I want to do like a lighter, almost pastel green, or like a nice chartreuse. And I am going to fill in my entire background. So once you have the color of your choice, you're going to fill in everything around the dress and also around the legs and heels. Don't forget about these little parts underneath the heels. You want to make sure you get those filled in. And as you're doing this, if you need to switch to a smaller brush to get closer to your outline, you definitely can. But make sure you're doing the bigger parts with a bigger brush. All right, now once you have your entire background filled in, we're gonna still give the legs a few more minutes to dry, and while they are drying, we're gonna fill in the bottom of the dress. Now for the bottom of my dress, I'm gonna be doing like a light purple. You can do whatever color you'd like, but you do wanna make sure to wash out your brush. I'm still using my biggest flat brush, so I washed it out, and right on my plate, I'm gonna mix up some red with a little bit of blue. The more blue you use, the darker your purple will be. And I'm gonna add some white to lighten it up. And once you get the shade of your choice, or again, once you have the color of your choice, you're gonna go ahead and get your entire dress or the bottom of your dress filled in. Right, now once you have that filled in, we're gonna go ahead and go back in on the skin tone, on the legs and the feet. Now this time I am going to switch brushes, so I'm gonna switch to more of a medium sized round brush, and I'm gonna show you some different skin tones you can mix up. You can choose the one of your choice and go from there. So if you are going for a bit of a lighter skin tone, you can mix up white, a little bit of brown, and a little bit of red, just a very small amount of red. And keep in mind, the more white you add, the lighter it will be. Or you can mix up white, so if you want to go a little darker than that but still light, you can mix up white and a little bit of brown by itself. And again, but same thing, the more white you add, the lighter it will be. If you want to use the brown as is, you could just do another layer of brown. If you want to go for more of a caramel tone, you can mix up yellow, brown, and a little bit of white. And that will give you more of a caramel tone. Or if you want to go a bit darker, you can mix up brown and a little bit of black. Now keep in mind, the black does turn it dark really quickly, so you don't have to use a whole lot. You just want to use a little bit of black and mix it with your brown to give you a darker shade. Once you choose the shade that you want to go with, I like to fill in the back leg first, just so that I don't get the legs confused. And I'm also going to be filling in the toes, You don't want to go over the toenails again though. This time you want to leave the toenails open. So if you need to switch to a smaller brush when you get down to that point, feel free to do so. But you want to go ahead and get your legs filled in, but remember, do the back leg first and the foot and toes, and then do this front leg and the feet and the foot and toes. All right, now once you have your legs filled in, I'm gonna give those another second to dry before I do the toenails. But what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna go in and fill in my shoes. Now for my shoes, I'm gonna do more of a nude heel. You can do whatever color you like. If you would like to do the nude heel, what you're gonna do is mix up brown and white. So I'm starting off with a good amount of white and a little bit of brown. I'm just mixing it right on my plate. And I'm still using my medium round brush, so if you're still using that one, make sure you wash it off, and then you can go in with the color of your choice for your heel. I am making nude, so I mixed up white and a little bit of brown, and I'm gonna fill in both shoes. So I'm getting the ankle strap, the toe strap, the heel underneath here, and then also that little piece of the front of the heel that's showing in front of the toes or under the toes. And as you're working on this part, if you need to, feel free to switch to the smaller brush. Now, once you have the heels filled in, we're gonna move back into the toes. Now we wanna do the toenails while we let everything else dry. For your toenails, I am using the smallest brush. Remember, you can use the brush size of your choice, but I do suggest the smaller one since the toenails are a lot smaller. And I'm gonna be using just white paint. Of course, white nail polish on the toes. It's a classic. But you can use the color of your choice. It's up to you. But you want to get all of your toenails filled in, and then we're going to shape everything up with a quick outline. Now, once you have the polish on the toes, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start to outline everything. So I'm outlining everything in black just to clean it up and make it really nice and make all of the colors pop. You can continue using your smallest brush for this step, or if you feel comfortable, you can use your medium-sized brush. It's completely up to you. But you're going to use black. And what I like to do is I'm going to add a little bit of water to some of my black paint. I'm just going to mix that in just to thin it down a bit so that it makes really, really nice lines. And I am going to outline everything. I suggest starting from the top down, since everything towards the top should be pretty dry and the bottom still needs a little bit of time. So I'm going to work from the dress to the legs and shoes and then to the toes. And as you're working on outlining the legs, remember We pulled that line through the first time. You don't want to do that this time. So I do suggest starting with this front leg here, or the back leg that's bent. And remember, when you get to the front leg, don't cross over this time. You want to stop and then pick back up. All right, now once you have everything outlined, remember for the toes, you do want to make sure to bring all those lines back out. So you want to outline each toenail and then also bring out the line in between the toes. And once you have everything outlined and looking good, if there's any extra details you want to add, especially again if you're using this for maybe your bridal party, you could write the bridal name, you can add flowers, you can add whatever you like, or even if you're just doing this for a ladies' night, if you want to add some extra details, feel free to do so. But the last thing you want to make sure to do is simply signing your name. So you can use your smallest brush in whatever color you like and sign your name or initials in the corner of your painting. And now you have your very own Sundress in Stilettos. Thank you all so much for painting with me today. I hope you have enjoyed this tutorial. Also, thank you for the suggestions, for the stiletto suggestion and for the bridesmaid painting suggestion. I hope you both love it and that everyone else does as well. And as always, make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe and turn on those post notifications, and I will see you in the next tutorial.